We're back inside the Indiana Construction Industry Radio Studio with J.J. Stankovitz. I'm Matt Taylor, and it's our pleasure right now to be joined by Deandre Smith, the new running backs coach for your Indianapolis Colts. Coach, welcome to Indianapolis, man. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, so I got to ask you, coming over from the Giants, taking this position with the Colts, what attracted you to, hitch your wagon, if you will, to Shane Steichen?
Well, Shane and I go way back. He was a graduate assistant at UNLV years ago, 2009, I want to say. And I got in just the thing that struck me the most was a young, energetic, smart coach that I thought, man, he's pretty sharp. And we hit it off, obviously worked together. Thought there was going to be an opportunity after that one season to work somewhere else. It didn't work out. I ended up going to University of Illinois.
Yep.
But we always stayed in contact. And, when he got this opportunity, of course, I was happy for him. And throughout the years, there's been a couple times where he actually helped me get an interview here with Frank in 2018. And then an interview with them in Philly a couple years ago with Nick, because Nick was here. So it was just one of those things that we've been trying to get together for a while, and I'm just thankful that it's happened now.
For those that don't realize, that's such a fascinating part of the aspect of coaching that I don't think a lot of people realize. You interview for a job, you might not get it, but at the same time, you don't burn bridges, right? And you save those connections and you save those relationships because you never know, right?
You never know. And I go back to with Shane being a graduate assistant, and I've heard all these horror stories how coaches treat graduate assistants, and if I would never do that, but I know coaches have. And if I would have, for some reason, he would have had a bad experience working with me.
Yeah, guess what?
And guess what?
Done.
And I called back, hey, Shane, remember me from UNLV?
Yeah, I do remember you.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And move on.
Right.
So you don't know. And again, there's been times I've interviewed for a job, and the timing of it just didn't work out. But I'm always thankful and say, hey, I appreciate it, and we'll see what happens. And the 2018 situation with Frank, I really wanted it. I thought I would do a great job. Thought I interviewed well. I was told I did, but it just didn't work out. But again, it led to one opportunity to another opportunity, and here I am.
Last year, you did break into the NFL with the New York Giants. Got to coach Saquon Barkley, who had a fantastic season. We got to see an up-close view of it in Week 17. What did you learn just about the differences in coaching college players versus NFL players? Because you coached a number of talented college players, Mikel LaShore, right. Michael Turner among them.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I've had those kind of caliber players that end up playing in the NFL. The thing that I realized once I got to the New York Giants and coaching a player like Saquon, number one, he's a fantastic human being. Number two, obviously he's a talented football player, but he wanted to be coach. I challenged him, kind of sat down with him and said, hey, these are some things that I see on film I can help you with. Let's get those corrected. If you do those things, I think you're going to have a lot of success.
Right.
And I thought what we were doing offensively was going to fit his skill set. So I really had – I coached or taught college kids. I just did it the same. I just challenged them, gave them a plan, and he went out and executed, and the results were, pretty good.
It's interesting because Saquon, prior to last year, he sort of had this up and down. He was hurt. When he was healthy, he was really good. Now you're coming here to Indianapolis. You got Jonathan Taylor, who was awesome his first 2 years in the league. Last year, had dealt with some ankle injuries, didn't have the production that I'm sure he wanted. When you look at Jonathan Taylor on film, what do you see in him as a running back?
Outstanding running back. Unbelievable juice, acceleration, his balance and vision, all the things, qualities that are, really you want in a running back. I had a chance to visit with him yesterday, just on the phone, the excitement, the things I'm hearing about him as a pro, really, really similar, honestly, to how Saquon is. So, but as far as a football player, just an outstanding runner. I seen him play in college, so I know his abilities and things like that, and it's cool to see it translate to the NFL. And he's a talented individual. and I'm looking forward to having an opportunity to work with him.
Are there any glitches in his game?
No, I not that I've seen.
Yeah.
I can't say I've studied a lot. It's been we've been getting ready for the draft and things like that. But
Right.
I'll dig into it and see, and there'll be some things. I know he's open to whatever to help him improve, and that's going to be my job.
Yeah, that's Deandre Smith with us, running backs coach now for the Indianapolis Colts. For you, like you said, last year was your first taste of the NFL, coaching in the National Football League, coming from the college game. What was the biggest difference, I guess, from a day-to-day standpoint, coaching professional athletes versus guys trying to get to that level?
Well, the thing in the NFL, this is their full-time job. So when you get into the building, which most of them get in about 6:37 to maybe get their lifting in, then we get meetings. But the amount of information that you can feed guys in the NFL, and then going out and then walkthroughs, and then going to practice, and then coming back and just the film work, and you get them there for that short period of time from 8 to 5 or somewhere around there, or 7 to 5. It's the amount of information they can retain, and then the amount of plays you can kind of put in or install, and their recall is amazing to me.
You miss the recruiting trail at all?
Don't miss it at all. Don't miss it at all.
That seems to be a common theme, right?
Don't miss NIL. I don't miss tweeting.
Man, yeah.
I don't miss going into every school and send out a tweet that I was there.
Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah. I know I don't miss that at all.
That paper trail that you have to experience, right?
Oh, absolutely. You gotta let your boss know you're out there working. So.
Yeah, and you don't have to. I mean, for lack of a better term, I hate to say this, but you don't have to babysit guys. Everybody here's a pro.
Yeah, everybody's a pro, and the thing with college, you do have to recruit new players. You got to recruit the players that you have on your team, because if they disgruntled, they can leave. So it's just a never-ending cycle right now in the college game, and no, I'm fortunate that I get the chance to do this again, and I want to continue to do it as long as I can.
I just think this is interesting, the connections you have, especially when you've been in coaching as long as you have. So you worked with Brian Daboll last year in New York. Brian Daboll in 2012 was the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, who hired Jim Bob Cooter as an offensive quality control coach. You coached with Shane Steichen when he was a graduate assistant at UNLV. Are there any other coaching connections you have or influences you have that we maybe haven't touched on?
Well, on our staff, no, not right now. Our paths, with Tom, a little bit of one of the coaches that he worked with, Nathan Shieldhouse, was at Illinois.
He was the quarterback at Illinois.
So we can kind of, have that connection there. So that's
my God, he was playing quarterback when I was in college.
I know,
I'm feeling
crazy.
Young, man.
That's that golden rule, though, right?
Yeah.
Treat everybody with respect, because those connections, those webs, they're always going to overlap. You never know how they're going to go.
Someone can call someone and say, "Hey, what can you tell me about Deandre Smith?"
Right.
It could be a former player, it could be someone I worked with before. You just never know. So,
no doubt.
But no, not on this staff. Like on the Giants staff, there was a lot more connections once I got there to the staff. But I didn't know until I got there. But Brian Cox, who's was a great NFL player. He and I grew up together, competed against each other in college. Andre Patterson, the D-line coach, was at UNLV when Shane and I were at UNLV. So it was kind of like, wow, that's those guys were there. So it was just something else after another that kind of connected us.
That's Deandre Smith, running backs coach for the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm calling you an adopted Hoosier. Right, West Lafayette, you're at Purdue, right, in 2016. And then take me back to 1999, the OC of the Sycamores down at Indiana State in Terre Haute.
Yeah, spent a lot of time in Terre Haute and Wabash River.
Yes, yes.
That was where I got my first start.
Yep.
Kind of got into the college game right off from selling insurance. So I can write a policy for you if you need me to.
All right.
you need some car insurance. Hey. What deductible do you want? You want $100? You want
what do we got to meet here?
Yeah, it was like $500. I could do that.
Sign me up.
Yeah, so I was an insurance man, and I got a call about this coach. His name was Tim McGuire at the time, that was interested in the quarterback coach. I played at Southwestern Missouri State, so I was an option quarterback.
Right.
They were running the option. One of my former coaches, who I hadn't talked to since I left college, he was like, "Hey, man, I know this guy. He was a great option quarterback. I haven't talked to him. I know he's successful. He's a kind of kid. He said, but if he can coach as half as good as he played, he'll be a great coach.
There you go.
Called me up, went down, sat down. He's like, hey, do you want the job? I'm like, what is the job?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
It was kind of like, well, I got this recruit. Sit over there and talk to him. What do you want me to talk to him about? Just you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So I sat and I talked with this kid, never forget Sheridan Fox, who basically ended up coming to Indiana State, broke all my records as a quarterback. And we just, I kind of, once I got into it, I realized this was what I love doing. And
Wow.
been coaching ever
So
since.
you didn't realize as a player you wanted to coach?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Beats the hell out of looking at fender benders,
Oh,
right?
ain't no doubt. It was kind of like I couldn't sit there with, with my white shirt on, my pocket protector,
Yeah.
talking and just trying to, every year say, hey, you really want to think about increasing your limits
Yeah.
on your policy? So,
You need more coverage now.
exactly.
You never know.
Exactly.
that your background as an option quarterback, I'm curious just because NFL coaches draw upon anything they can. I remember hearing stories about how the Broncos, got Tim Tebow to have such a successful year, and they had Brian Callahan who interviewed for the job here. He was an option quarterback like in high school. So hey, Brian, help us out here. Has that experience come up? Last year working with Daniel Jones, who is obviously an excellent running quarterback, just even offering up I did this. I kind of know what I'm talking about here.
Well, absolutely. And really, every place I've ever coached, when you have some element of option in the game, and it could be something as simple as how you pitch the ball.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you pitch the ball at basketball pitch, or do you pitch it thumb under? So I can remember vividly we had a little play where we're going to pitch it or we're going to toss it. And I was like, hey, if you pitch it, basketball pitch, you can get out there farther and it's easier to catch because it doesn't rotate as much. So we were on the sideline. We're going through all those. And a lot of coaches trust me. It's like, hey, well, you were pretty good, so we'll just go with that.
Right.
So, yeah, I do. In any chance that I get, most guys would defer to me, especially when you're talking option football.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about a coaching staff, that collaboration is so important. And Shane comes across as someone who is very in tune with the necessity of that collaboration.
Well, absolutely. And I think when you have that cohesion like that and everybody's going in the same direction, everything moves easier when you have that, kind of situation.
Right. All right. Now, during your recruiting trails from Indiana State or Purdue, covering Central Indiana, covering Indianapolis, what's your favorite place to stop, have lunch, or grab a drink? Just your favorite haunts in town here now.
Oh, wow. I used to hang out up in Broad Ripple a lot,
Yep.
so that was kind of my spot,
Yep.
which I don't even know if places are still open. It was kind of crazy. But believe it or not, I would come, and this is kind of bad, but like there was a Church's Chicken I used to like to go to that I just kind of hit that because St. Louis, we kind of had that a lot. And then when I would go downtown, we would go downtown and I forget it was Buffalo Wild Wings down there that we kind of liked, and then the steak place, I can't remember.
St. Elmo's?
St. Elmo's, yeah.
Which is, been here forever.
For
But,
sure,
you
for
kind of
sure.
had to go St. Elmo's. So
Yeah.
so it was kind of, that's what I would hit.
There you go.
Now I'm a big cigar guy, so.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's a Nicky
Blaine's.
Nicky
Yeah,
Blaine's.
I don't know if that's there anymore.
No, it's still there.
Oh, it is?
yeah.
Okay.
I checked already.
I'm
I know
I'm glad that it's
Reggie's
there.
going to have some recommendations for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Nicky and then Burn. It's another cigar
Yeah.
spot. So yeah, I've already scoped that out.
There you go. All right.
I'm glad you proved me wrong there.
There you go.
That's good to hear. That's good stuff right there. That's Deandre Smith. He is the new running backs coach for the Indianapolis Colts. Coach, it's great to meet you, great to talk to you, and best of luck this offseason as you gear up towards training camp.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.